Beet chips. So messy, but so worth it. So many people love beets and they love the taste of beet chips, but they shy away from doing them and making them themselves because they're so messy. You have to remember that it's just 3 ingredients. You can wash your hands. It'll be over in a second. It's so worth it. Beets are one of my favorite vegetables, especially for women. It's high in iron. Beets are also really high in phosphorus, which is hard to get sometimes. So here's how it goes. You have a bowl with about 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and then you slice your beets. So I've sliced my beets with a mandolin, so they're all uniformly quite thin. I'm gonna dump all of them into the bowl with the olive oil. And here's where I start to get a little messy. And then I literally massage the beets in the olive oil, coating every single piece. So I say there's 2 tablespoons of olive oil, but there's a lot left over in the bottom of this bowl afterwards. We just want to coat them so they burn a little bit more evenly and they have like a crispy result, which is really key. So I just massage them. I just sort of am like playing in mud here because I'm just getting messier and messier as I go. But I love it. I really love it. They're also so beautiful. I mean, this is like really great eye candy. And beets are sweet. They do have a bit of a high sugar content, so they almost feel like a fruit in a way when you're eating them sometimes. So I've pretty much thoroughly coated them. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. And I've coated them really nicely, so I could tell I've coated this one really well. So now I'm gonna lay them on parchment paper on a cookie tray. I always use parchment paper with beets because it's just easy cleanup, and that's important. We wanna make your life easier. So here's the beet chip. I'm gonna start laying it down. Now the reason why I'm showing you this is I want you to notice how tightly we're putting these together. They're touching, they're literally touching. So you want to fit as many as you can on the cookie sheet. Keep them really close. They even touch when they're not just down the line, but also side to side. This is an important step. I ended up, the first time I made these beet chips, I used a lot of cookie sheets. And instead of really conserving space, because these beets have such hydration right now that they're going to totally shrink down within the first few minutes of being in the oven. But remember, one of our goals is to learn your food, and when you're working with beets, you really see that they're warm, that they're rich, that they have something different than other foods because they just look so different. They look like they're from another planet on a lot of levels. Okay, I'm almost there. I'm gonna do 1.5 more. There. So that's a good use of space. Now this whole cookie sheet is gonna make about this much in beets. That's how much they shrink down. Now the last step is just to sprinkle sea salt on it, which is fun. So you just take sea salt, and you just sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. Be generous, because a lot of it's just gonna go straight on the parchment paper, so don't skimp out on the sea salt. It's really the only seasoning that you need on beets, because the beets themselves have such amazing flavor. So the final step is to put it in the oven. So we bake at 400 degrees for about 15 minutes, but what you wanna remember is that you have to keep checking the beets. Every oven is different. And the size you sliced your beets is going to impact the amount you cook. So keep in mind that if thicker are gonna take longer, etc. Just keep that in mind. But when you're done, you have this delicious, colorful beet. Again, they really shrink down, they become wavy and curly. They're amazing. They're great as a side of a sandwich. They're great as something just to snack on. It's healthy, it's nutrient dense, it's perfect for our needs.